He was number 4 on the number of parties I copied. But to my astonishment, the letter was never responded to by the Auditor General. I took the trouble to follow up. Within the period I had given to get a response from her after it had expired, the Auditor General on phone assured me that the issues I had raised would be canvassed in the audit that had just started, was ongoing for this year, the year that His Excellency had been in power, that's the 2022-2023 budget cycle. So I patiently waited. And those of you who know, I pushed the issue of getting documents from my governor to a point whereby I had to open litigation which was also again interfered with by hired goons who pelted me when I was leaving court one day. We were forced to, the matter was transferred to Nairobi from Busia. So, but other than that, I had a legitimate expectation that the word the Auditor General gave me, that the current audit would canvass the issues I had raised, would be seen through. However, when I got copies of the audit report and copies of the responses from the governor, I realized that the issues had not been addressed. If anything, there was a deliberate attempt, or a deliberate but very poor attempt to cover them up. So, Honorable Chair, I asked the committee to look through the report, and I would be objecting to these proceedings going ahead unless and until CPA Nazi Kadhungu, the Auditor General, is held to account for what is happening in Busia. That is my submission, Honorable Chair.
You have, Honorable Senator, you have referred to correspondences and conversations which are not before the committee, which are not before the Senate.
I would like to...
I think it would be important that we are formally seized of those conversations.
Yes, Honorable Chair, I would like to table my 26-page letter, which I addressed to the Auditor General, which I copied to the Governor, and which I thought could inform the audits before us, but has not. It has been neglected and ignored.
Okay, Clerk of the Senate, you may receive that letter, and fine. So we'll take that as evidence of the conversations that the Senator is referring to. Now that we have taken that into account, Senator, would you mind telling us the date of that conversation so that...
Chair, perhaps the clerk should give you the document so that you satisfy yourself as to the averments by the...
Okay.
Yes.
Fine. So, Senator Omtata, you are... So this is... I think we have received this. So may you just let us know the content of what you have placed before us?
Well, Honorable Chair, the letter, the reference of the letter is request to confirm whether or not...
I think it would also be fair for the Governor to get a copy of what has been placed before the Senate, because this
letter was copied to the Governor.
Yes.
Yeah. Let him receive
Okay,
it, so that even when we put the question as to whether it was copied to him, at least he's familiar with what we are discussing. Governor, you have a copy of that letter? Okay, fine. Proceed, Senator.
Yes, the reference of the subject is a request to the Auditor General to confirm whether or not public money has been applied
Chair,
lawfully.
maybe I wanted to ask whether the governor has received the letter before. Because he's saying I've just received.
Yeah, Governor, is it a quick perusal? Is it something that has come to your attention?
Now.
Previously?
I think previously I've seen it.
You've seen it?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. Proceed, Senator.
Yeah, so the letter is requesting the Auditor General to confirm whether or not public money has been applied lawfully and effectively in recent suspicious procurement undertaken by the Busia County Executive from September 2022 to the date of the letter, which was 14th of November. Now, just to go through quickly that I wrote this letter within the mandate I enjoy under the Constitution and also under the determination of the Supreme Court in the case of Senate versus Council of Governors and 6 others, petitions 24 and 27 of 2019. So, among the issues I raised in that letter, I expressed frustration. I first of all informed the government that I've been engaged in auditing what was going on. And I had been encountering some challenges. I pointed out there were many inflated and ghost projects in the county. And then I'd also expressed frustration about the auditor's office. Despite the annual auditing of the county's financial records by office, the systemic issues persist unabated. So I went ahead and highlighted issues of understated revenues, ineligible expenditure, creation of ineligible pending bills. I also went to procurement like of Web Tribe Limited, which was not done in a proper manner. I also talked about fraud in the renovation of the governor's lounge and for other projects. I also addressed the issue of refrigerated truck registration number KCA 299X, Isuzu lorry stroke truck 2264,000 NKR 66 white, and construction of modern fish filleting room. So I also raised issues about what was called the Busia Town Beautification Program. I also raised issue about alleged fraudulent procurement leading to lack of medical supplies in county hospitals. Alleged loss of county funds used to hire a dredger from MATIANG'I. I also alleged diversion of funds, irregular and selective payment and unpayment of pending bills. I also alleged abuse of the imprest system. I alleged nepotism in employment, employment of unqualified staff, and of employment. And when I called the auditor, when I did not receive a response within the timeline I had given the Auditor General, I took a time to call her, and she assured me that the issues I had raised would not constitute a special audit, but would be canvassed in the ongoing audit, which is not the paper before us today. When I got these audit reports and I looked through, I found, for lack of a better word, a fraud scheme being rolled out before my eyes. There's what I know, and there's what was being massaged, being presented as an audit report. As far as I'm concerned, that audit report does not pass muster, and it would be a waste of public taxpayers' money for this committee to discuss it. And even when it is being discussed, we would want the Auditor General to sit in that seat. She's the one who signs this report, to sit in that seat, not her liaison officer, so that she can answer the questions we have, and I have for her. That is how grave the issues are. It's a letter that was given out, not acknowledged to date, other than the conversation after I followed up. But that's how the grave state of affairs is. And if we have to do justice to devolution, at least do justice to devolution in Busia. That's what I request the committee.
Thank you, Senator. This letter was addressed to the Office of the Auditor General. And I think the person who now needs to tell us whether action was taken is the Office of the Auditor General. Could you confirm that this letter dated 14th of November 2023 was received by the office, and whether there was any response on record?
Thank you, Chair. I can confirm that the letter was received on the 14th of November 2023 by the Office of Auditor General.
Where is the response to the letter?
Chair, I don't have the response with me.
Was there any response by the office?
No, I am not aware of any response, Chair. But we are working on the issues in the current year of 2023-2024 audit.
Senator Sifuna.
Yeah, more importantly, Auditor General, because an allegation has been made here that there was a commitment that the issues the Senator had raised would be addressed during the then ongoing audit. Luckily for us, we have the correspondence from Senator Omtata, and we also have the Auditor General's report. You might not know whether there's a response from your boss, but if I don't know if you have been provided a copy of Senator Omtata's letter.
You have it, Chair.
Are the issues that he raised in this letter addressed in the audit that is before us today?
Chair, with your permission, I cannot answer that, but for sure, those issues were sent to me for me to do another audit.
Point of order, Chair.
Just a
Point
minute,
of order.
Senator.
Thank you.
You cannot say you cannot answer.
Thank you. That's
we
what I
don't-
was asking him. Then what did you come to do here?
Just a minute. We don't want to have an acrimonious exchange between you and the committee, because it is acknowledged that you are the eyes of the committee. The beauty, I started by saying, the beauty is that we have both documents before us. So it is for you, for instance, to tell me, in this report, is there anything on procurement of WebTribe Limited? It's a yes or no. Then we just make a decision, Chair. If the Senator has talked of understated revenue, ineligible expenditure, creation of ineligible pending bills, the question to you is, the document you prepared, does it contain any of those? You just say yes or no. Then we can be able to see whether the Senator is correct or accurate in saying that none of those issues have been addressed.
Thank you, Chair. I'll answer this way. One, by the time Senator Mutata was sending this letter to the Office of the General, we had concluded the audit of 2022-2023. Number two, some of the issues raised, in fact, particular two issues raised by the Senator were included in the report of 2022.
Yes, that is how you answer. Which one and which one?
One is innovation of the governor's launch.
Yes. That's issue number 2 in the Senator's letter. It is at which page of your report?
Page 6, Chair.
Okay, just give us a minute to go with you. My page 6 is your...
The report of Auditor General. Paragraph 7.2.
Just give us a minute. Clerk, Chair, I do not seem to have that report. I have County Revenue Fund, County Executive. I don't seem to have it.
Chair, we need a copy of the report.
We need a copy of that.
Yeah, clerks, please make sure members have.
Let me see. What's a
copies.
soft copy now? Page 6. Is that paragraph 8?
No, 7.2.
7.2.
Paragraph 7.2, Chair.
Chair, just from a casual a comparison of those two documents, the senator's letter is longer than the paragraph on renovation of the governor's lounge is longer than the Auditor General's. But you had said there are two issues. Maybe let's identify the other one.
Chair 7.1, integrated revenue collection and management system and the hospital information management system.
So at least those two, you're saying they have been addressed.
At least they are included in the report. And Chair number 3, we had an issue on page 4 on pending bills.
On?
Page 4 of the auditor's report.
Creation of ineligible pending bills.
Yes.
Where is that?
Paragraph 2, page 4 of the auditor's report.
This was a failure to settle bills. I think that's a different issue from what the senator raised. The senator is querying alleged creation of ineligible pending bills. That's a different issue.
Chair, with your permission, can I make my other comment on that?
Proceed.
Now that we are in the process of concluding the audit, or we are auditing the period 2023-2024, some of the issues raised in that document by Senator Omutata are being addressed.
Where is that written? Where is it on record? Where, if you are not there, where is that evidence?
Chair, we have not concluded the audit. So I may not have that evidence
This
now.
letter was written 1 year ago.
Chair.
But Chair, could I just make one comment, if you allow me?
Okay, then he seems to be banning, and then we come to you.
Okay, no.
Chair, I have been a very good friend of the Auditor General's office. But the way this gentleman is answering these questions, boss, if you take yourself and look at yourself on the face, I swear to God, you wouldn't believe yourself. So don't lie to this committee. Don't treat us casually. Are you with me, sir? Don't think this committee comes here to sanitize you or him or me or these people. We just want the people of Busia to know the truth. Can you talk the truth?
Well noted, Chair.
Chair,
Senator Methu?
yeah, I think we needed Onyonka to go first. He's the bad cop in this matter. But even though the Auditor General wants to give the Senator and this committee the comfort of saying that some issues have appeared in this audit report of 2022-2023, some others will appear in the 2024 or 2023-2024. First of all, in the absence of a response to the letter that was written to the Senator, then there is no commitment that anything is being done. Because if it was to appear in the 2023-2024, Senator Omutata is not a necessarily cantankerous person. He would say, and he would know that I would not expect it in this financial year, I will expect it in this particular financial year. But in the absence of a letter, in the absence of a response to that particular letter that was made, and I actually think this would be very wrong, especially from the Office of the Auditor General, because Senator Omutata has even made their work easier. He derives his mandate from Article 96. He is actually telling them, in my assessment, I actually think that there's a problem on this particular project. Say, for example, the project that the Auditor General has spoken about, the governor's launch. If you look at the issues that have been raised by Senator Omutata, there are issues number A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. If you look at what the Auditor General has queried, it's just one thing. In fact, the Auditor General has only queried the issue of procurement, nothing else, not the content of what has been written by Senator Omutata. So if what has been contained in this report of 2022-2023 is what Senator Omutata would expect even in the one that is coming, because they are saying that there are things that are in the current audit. If this is what our one paragraph query is what Senator Omutata would expect, then I don't think there's anything really to look forward to. And I agree with the sentiments of Senator Omutata. There's no point of doing or this committee committing its time. It's very, very, very major resource time, looking at a report that is half-baked. If the senator is not satisfied with what has been done, and it's not by word of mouth, he has taken his time, he has done his homework, is telling you that there is a problem in this particular area in my county, and there is nothing that has been done, Honorable Chair, then it puts us in a position that we cannot be able to even move, and it puts the Auditor General in very, very bad light. I mean, the most basic thing would have been to even respond to the letter, even accept that we have received your letter, we are acting on it, even if you are not good to go to the specific. But in the absence of a response, which the Auditor General and his representative confirms that there is nothing from the Auditor General. In fact, sadly, the Auditor General tried to circumvent the process by trying to talk to Senator Mtata on phone. If what I got, or by word of mouth, if what I got from him is correct. Senator Mtata had an option of also raising this matter by word of mouth, but he chose to write a letter. So a letter must be accompanied by a response. So, Honorable Chair, to give my opinion on the way forward, I do not think we'll be doing the people of Busia, we'll be doing the governor of Busia, and we'll be doing the senator of Busia justice if you are to just sit here and look at this audit report, which in the opinion of the senator, in my own opinion, and in the opinion of the majority of the members of this committee, and I'm sure in the opinion of the governor, because if you received this letter, you know that these things are not appearing in the audit report. I'm sure you'd want them to appear so that you can be able to clear your name, because there are things that have been written by your senator. So we'll not be doing any justice to all the parties, including our own selves.
Thank you.
If we proceed.
Chair, I think I agree largely with my colleagues, because on 23rd August, I wrote 2 letters to Office of the Auditor General, which was copied to EACC, to Governor Nandi, to County Assembly of Nandi. I have those letters that were received by all offices, but OAG never responded. And in fact, I was raising issues of major projects that were being done that had been dragged for the longest time possible. The OAG, even out of courtesy, despite that being your vice chair, I expected even, and I've sat with her in the same room, to even have the basic courtesy of responding to my issues, because under Article 96, our oversight is unlimited. Because, Chair, looking at this report, and I raised concern when we were in our in-house, if the people of Busia are sitting and watching these proceedings, and we are just discussing issues of accounting, basic issues of accounting, they don't see the value for the money they get through equitable shareable. They want to know which projects have been completed, what is the value for their money, what was the timeline, Chair. And therefore, I want to ask the OAG, our people will only see the value for money if you audit the projects. We agree there could be accounting issues, the standards that we have employed, but at least give us a meat so that we are able to see. And then number 2, Chair, when I represented you, my message to the OAG, then was that Senate and OAG should be partners, because we pray the simpler. In fact, the reason, Chair, I don't know whether MCAs of Busia are here, sometimes you pose a question and ask the local MCA whether they have a view of particular project, because we believe since they come from that area, they have a better view of things. The way Senator of Busia has a better view over all of us in this room, of course, plus the governor, on the projects that is ongoing in Busia County. So, Chair, I think with this matter and my matter, I think the OAG herself, Madam Nancy Katungu, should appear, so that we don't have to waste a lot of time and resources considering a report that even all of us agree that there is nothing much on this report. It's more of accounting, academic discourse, narratives that does not even give value to the people of Busia, Chair. And finally, even looking at most of these issues, why would we sit and discuss ethnic composition about Busia? We should be discussing what Governor Otoma has achieved in the financially. And I want to empathize with my brother, Senator Ogio Mtata. I hope you reported to the police, because I was worried when I saw stones being pelted on you, and we were really worried for you. But if you want good tactics on how to handle such unruly or Vasilia's goons of a governor, just consult me for free in camera. I thank you.
I'm not sure the evidence has been tendered to link the governor to the goons.
Chair, just for the comfort of the Senator of Busia, the last time I was in Busia, I was also stoned. My vehicle, and the governor is aware. we were in the meeting together with him.
Yes.
And when I left that meeting, my entire back screen was smashed by stones. So there's a problem there in the county. So it's not Omtata alone.
Is there any nexus between the governor and the goons?
No,
Because
I'm not saying
uh,
that. I'm just saying he was there at the meeting. And he
But he
knows,
was stoned.
He was
where
also a victim.
he was also stoned.
Maybe it's a rite of
So
passage.
then I doubt he would stone
Would that
himself.
be the reason we are avoiding going to Senate Machinane in
Now,
Busia?
honourable members, I think let's come back to the matters before us. We have a preliminary matter that has been raised by Senator Omtata. Even though we've accepted the tabling of this document, let it be clear that these are allegations that have been raised by the senator for Busia, and we cannot take them to be true until the Auditor General has reviewed them. What we have before us is a report of the Auditor General, which has listed a number of issues. Governor, as I mentioned earlier, we spent about two hours going through these reports. And I can tell you that in the absence of this request for additional inquiry by Senator Omtata, it would then appear like Busia is a perfect county when it comes to financial management. Because the issues raised in this report, you'll find the first issue is querying 1.06 million as payments to members of the County Public Service Board. 58% of your staff are from a dominant ethnic community. We have seen counties where the figure is at 98%. Really, there is nothing here. There's no flesh in this report. So it means either of two things, that you're running a proper financial management system, and you're running things in accordance with the law, in accordance with regulations, and that Busia would therefore be a model county. In fact, the observations raised by the Auditor General here, you should have just gone ahead and given the county an unqualified opinion, because we have seen counties with far worse issues. But then Senator Omtata throws a spanner in the works and says that, Auditor General, I have evidence of additional malpractices that you need to interrogate. Unfortunately, we don't have any evidence that the Auditor General acted on those issues raised by Senator Omtata. And that is where we now have a problem. You have said that you are taking action. There is no evidence to that effect. And I think we might be moving towards a direction of summoning the Auditor General herself to appear before this committee to state the action that has been taken, if there are correspondences, and to assure us that the allegations raised by Senator Omtata were interrogated and that they are baseless. Of course, we cannot, in these proceedings, we cannot go through this letter by Senator Omtata. We cannot take it to be true, because they need to be subjected to the Auditor General's test. So we have accepted this just for information, but not necessarily to conclude that what Senator Omtata alleges is true. But if you don't give us the assurance and confirmation that you have tested this letter, you put us in a very awkward position. So I'm going to give the governor an opportunity. He has listened to the conversation. Governor, this letter was copied to you, so really the action was not on your part. But from your recollection, as the Auditor General reached out, has there been some action taken on this from your perspective?
Chair, thank you once again. As you have put it, when I came here, this letter, I'm also maybe just familiarized my memory, but as you have put it correctly, it is written to the Auditor General. And in our case, the way the audit is done, I only interact at what we call the entry meeting and the exit meeting. That is the only time I interact with the auditors. In our county, they come, we have an entry meeting. Then normally, if I'm again available, we'll have an exit meeting. Secondly, Chair, you know, there are also various, I'm saying there are also various government organs that are also involved in some of these issues that I'm just seeing here. And maybe, as you have put it correctly, if it has been tabled, then I'm sure the committee and the Senate will be seized of the matter and give the right direction on how to address the issues that have just were not maybe captured in the current audit, so that then they can be seized off, and definitely we will be ready to perform our constitutional mandate to come and respond to what the Auditor General would have found out, or even other government bodies. As you have spoken here, there is ESCC, there is DCI, there are all these other various government bodies that we are dealing with. But for now, I think my comment will just be limited to that. Thank you.
Auditor General, any response before we agree on our way forward?
Thank you, Chair. Indeed, I want to repeat that those issues raised by the Senator are being considered in the current audit. And audit is based on cycles. We have the current cycle of 2023-2024. And subsequently, now you'll be able now to specifically indicate whether the issues as raised are true or not. That one I assure you, we have not concluded the audit. We'll be able to
when did you do
submission.
your exit meeting with Busia? Can you remember the date of your exit meeting?
We have already done an exit meeting.
No, for this financial year that we are considering. Because
It was done last week when
the Auditor General's report, the Auditor General signed a report on 22nd of January 2024. The Senator wrote on 14th of November 2023.
Yes.
Meaning by the time the Auditor General was signing this report, your office had already received this request. Why then would it be pushed to the next audit cycle, and yet the letter came within the window? And in fact, it came within the constitutional timelines, because constitutionally, the end is 31st December, isn't it?
Yes.
And this letter came on 14th November.
Unfortunately, Chair, the audit team had exited and it was doing other audits in other entities. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't want you to raise Senator Onyonka's pressure, because that direction you are taking, you might get some lashing. Governor, it is our view, looking at Article 2296, it says, an audit report shall confirm whether or not public money has been applied lawfully and in an effective way. The report that we have before us, and we've spent almost 2 hours going through it, the committee is convinced that it does not confirm the conditions described in Article 2296. If you look at 2 of the issues the Auditor General has said found their way into the report from the Senator's letter, one is on the renovation of the Governor's Lounge. The auditor's concern is that documents were not provided. That is the auditor's concern. If you look at the issue of revenue system that the Senator makes allegations against, again, the auditor's concern is that documentation was not provided. Lawful and effective utilization of public resources goes beyond documentation. It is clear that whereas the Senator addressed this letter to the Auditor General on 14th of November, before the certificate, the final certificate was issued, the Auditor General did not take it into account. And I think today we don't have a problem with the county. Today we have a problem with the Auditor General. If you are to adopt this report, then the county would be graded as an A, because there's nothing here. You have 223 pages. and just about 6 pages of the auditor's observation. I would want to be happy that Busia, one of Senator Sifuna's counties as Secretary General of ODM, is a perfect county. I would want to be. I would want to go and say so, that go to Busia and benchmark, because this report shows that you guys are doing an excellent job. But we cannot reach that conclusion until the Auditor General tells us that she queried these allegations and found them to be hot air and a wild goose chase. So I think members, the Auditor General must come before us and tell us what action she took on these allegations. And if she tells us that her officers queried the allegations and found them to be baseless, this committee shall report to the House that we agree with the report of the Auditor General, and will probably just be commending the county government of Busia for putting in place a proper financial management system. But we cannot reach that conclusion until the Auditor General appears before us. Senator Umtata, you raised the PO, and I've given that direction. Do you still think that there's value in going through the issues, the tepid issues that have been raised here, before we see the Auditor General?
Honorable Chair, I don't think there's any value in doing so, because some of the questions, even in that report, in terms of the accuracy of the accounts that she approved and signed as proper, are not satisfactory. And I would like to have some questions for her, not for her officers. She's the one who signed that document. I want her to take an oath, to lift the Bible and swear, and then I cross-examine her on that report. So I think the direction I've given my chair is the correct one. We can't look at this document in the absence of the Auditor General sitting in that seat and having taken an oath.
Point of order. The senator says the direction I've given to chair.
The chair has given us.
Oh, I thought
you know, sometimes
I thought you were directing the chair.
You have a problem multitasking.
Yes.
Order, senators. Order. You know, members,
Consulting the SG.
If we were going through this report, we would be done with it in 1 hour. Correct. Because we have seen the written responses, we have seen the issues raised by the Auditor General. I wouldn't say that there are very significant issues in this report. And if the senator had not raised the alarm that there are issues that needed to be queried, as I said earlier, we would be done very quickly with this session and would be congratulating Governor Otuoma. But let's not do the congratulations now until the Auditor General tells us the action she took on this letter. And it's an interesting departure from the prior years, because, Governor, I recall when you appeared before us for prior years, there were a lot of issues. In fact, our very first meeting aborted because of lack of records or documentation, because of very many issues that were raised in those reports. So we are coming from that situation where there's a very long report to a situation where the Auditor General is querying 1 million shillings as allowances and querying documentation. We feel concerned that perhaps justice was not done to Article 2296 of the Constitution. But the burden now lies on the Auditor General. I think it's the Auditor General to assure us. And once we get that assurance, we can report to the House accordingly. County Assembly of Busia, have you had occasion to review these reports?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, we had the opportunity, and about 2 weeks ago, we invited the county executive to respond on the issues raised by the Auditor General. And the committee is still working on the report. It was interrupted last week. We had started site visit to confirm whether those programs are there or not. But last week, we had CASA, where all county assemblies were in Bungoma for CASA, and therefore it was interrupted. Chair, we are still working on the report, and I believe that once we go back, we'll continue with site visits and then come up with a report. Thank you, Chair.
What sites were you visiting when the Auditor General only cited 2 projects? The only project the Auditor General cited was the Governor's Launch.
It was the Governor's Launch, yes.
And parking areas within Busia municipality. Just 2 projects.
Yes, Chair. We did the Governor's Launch, and we were to go to the cabros that were worked at the county government headquarters.
Yeah, it's part of the concern the committee has, and we have already told the Auditor General that in some counties you are very detailed on projects. You give us a full schedule of projects implemented within the year, the status, and you highlight the stalled ones. This report indicates that there is no stalled project in Busia. It indicates that the only project where there is concern is a Governor's Launch and the cabros. And yet, in prior years, there are a number of projects that have come to our attention. In fact, I think in our last meeting, the Governor addressed himself to some of the projects that have been long outstanding. They never found their way into this report. Even where you traditionally refer to prior year issues, Auditor General, in this case, you did not even make reference to prior year issues. There's a disconnect between the previous reports and this current report. And I know in our closed session, we have spoken very firmly and strongly about this. In this public session, we don't want to look like we are quarreling with the Office of the Auditor General. But I think in this particular case, the Office of the Auditor General ought to have done better, and we shall canvass those issues when we invite Madam Nancy to appear before this committee. Clerk, do that notice so that Madam Nancy appears before us in the next 7 days. It is that appearance that will guide us on how to finalize the report on this. Yeah, because as we discuss the issue of Busia, we can also bring into context the issue of Nandi, where the Senator has written, and the issue of Isiolo, where the Senator has also requested for some action to be taken by the Office of the Auditor General. Senator Mofaya.
Chair, thank you very much. I'm sorry for a committee on delegated. And this is Senator Mwenda Gataya, Mofaya, Tharaka Nithi County, member of this committee.
You're welcome. So I think to summarize it, Governor, as an oversight committee, we are naturally and innately suspicious, and we are not used to good reports. So you might find yourself being a victim, that you have a very good report before us. And our innate suspicion makes us feel like there are some corners of the house that were not covered. And that is reinforced by the letter that was done by the Senator for Busia. As I said previously, if we are relying on this report, then you have done a good job. But we want the Auditor General to give us assurance on project management issues, procurement issues, continuity of prior year issues, revenue systems, pending bills, statutory deductions, contingent liabilities, and particularly matters to do with legal fees, whether there's been value for money in project execution, issues of interest management. I've seen them in the Senator's letter, but they're not in the report. Issues of on-source revenue, the potential versus actual. We had observed that the growth in on-source revenue for Busia was as a result of NHIF rather than productivity. And those are things that the Auditor General needs to cite. Issues of asset management, all these are things that we need an assurance on, so that we can be sure, as per Article 2296, that public money has been applied lawfully and effectively. So, Governor, we are withholding the flowers until the Auditor General appears before us, because this report indicates that you should be receiving flowers. And the SG. with whom you are stoned. So we are not giving flowers until the Auditor General gives us an assurance. Governor?
Thank you, Chair. We are well directed by the committee. But I think, as I had said earlier, as a county, we just wait for the Auditor General to do their job. And what we have responded to is what we have. But as you have indicated that maybe you need to have some issues with the Auditor General, we will be more than ready waiting. Hopefully we'll get the flowers.
Yeah, let's hope that will be fresh by the time the Auditor General comes. That then means that we'll not proceed with this meeting. So depending on the outcome of the discussion with the Auditor General, but there was a ruling on 1st of October that makes reference to the statutory timelines of the Constitution for consideration of audit reports. And so we must take a decision as a committee. If the Auditor General agrees with the issues raised by the Senator, we'll then find a way of making sure they're incorporated either in the ongoing audit or a special audit. But one way or the other, we must make a decision on this report that is before us. But I think having looked at the written responses and the brief from the Auditor General, the issues raised were fairly lukewarm, that we wouldn't spend a lot of time in marking them as resolved. Unless there's any other matter, Governor, I think we can then close, unless there's something you want to raise.
No, Chair, I stand guided. I may have my views, but in this case, because we have already directed, so we stand directed.
Okay. Senator Mtata?
I would echo my governor's words.
Fine. So there being no other business, the meeting is adjourned. The committee meets on Monday at 9:30 a.m.